In the map, the blue line represents the Venezuela-Colombia border, the yellow marker represents the International Bridge, the blue marker represents the other bridge closed by Hugo Chavez, and the green and red markers represent the U.S. military bases. On July 2009, news of a military deal between Colombia and the United States is made public. The deal allowed the U.S. access to 7 Colombian military bases. Details of the agreement are not yet available to the public. The deal creates tension throughout Latin America, especially between Venezuela and Colombia. Chavez was angered by not being consulted before the announcement of the deal. Moreover, the deal represents a threat to Venezuelan sovereignty, and he fears a U.S.-led invasion. Relations with Colombia begin to deteriorate again after this. Venezuela has claimed to have captured spies from Colombia just last month and warned Colombia that the winds of war were blowing across the continent. On July 27th, FARC arms were traced to Venezuela. Hugo Chavez has ordered a diplomatic freeze between Venezuela and Colombia on July 29th and warned that trade relations would also be frozen, which raised the possibility of expropriating Colombian companies. On August 5th, Chavez turns up heat on Colombia. On August 25th, Chavez is ready to cut all ties with Colombia. On August 28th, Chavez cuts all ties with Colombia. On October 2nd, Venezuela arrests 3 DAS agents charged with spying for Colombia. On October 24th, Venezuelan opposition asserts that Chavez is only interested in rooting out the right-wing paramilitaries and is actually aiding the guerrillas. In response to the violence, the Colombian government restricts trade and other economic activities with Colombia. On November 2009, the diplomatic row escalates after the Colombian government and the U.S. sign their long-trailed deal on the use of Colombia's military bases. President Chavez orders 15,000 troops to the Colombian border, citing increased violence by Colombian paramilitary groups. On November 2nd, 2 Venezuelan National Guardsmen are murdered. Colombia expels a Venezuelan National Guardsman. In response, Venezuela closes 2 international bridges between Colombia and Venezuela as Venezuelan authorities search for the suspects, creating mass confusion for residents. Current situation: Venezuela to reinforce troops on Colombia border with Russian tanks. Hugo Chavez has announced plans for the deployment of new Russian-made tanks and combat helicopters on the border with Colombia. Between 2005 and 2007, Moscow and Caracas signed 12 contracts worth more than $4.4 billion to supply arms to Venezuela, including fighter jets, helicopters, and Kalashnikov assault rifles. Venezuelan military already has nearly 200 tanks, according to the London-based International Institute of Strategic Studies, while Colombia has no tank units.